round of applause for Rabbi Mike Crowder. I have the distinct privilege of being able to serve with our next guest. I have the distinct honor to be an admirer of him based on what he's done fighting for this land. If you want to know what it is, just ask any NCO of the United States Army. They'll tell you the whole story. Because they love him and they mean it. He is the chairman of the Republican Party of Texas. He is a proud United States military veteran. I'm so lucky to be able to call him my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Colonel Allen West. How's everybody doing out there? And let me tell you something. You know what I see on this side? I see stars. I see the Star of David. I see the Lone Star. I see the 50 stars of the United States of America. I look over there. I don't see any stars. I know which side I'm standing on. I'm standing on the side of the star. Now, you know something that's real interesting? You know, George Santayana once said in the 1920s, those who fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And when I look over there and I hear people saying, free Palestine, and Palestine belongs to us, let's go back in antiquity and understand where that word Palestine came from. If you study and understand the Simon Bar Kokhba revolt, and after that revolt was put down on the Jewish people, the Roman Emperor Hadrian decided to punish the Jewish people by renaming that land Syriac Palestina. It was no longer supposed to be called the land of Judah. Where did the word Palestina come from? It was the root word of Philistine. And if you understand who the Philistines were, they were ancient Greeks. They sure as heck weren't Arabs. So if you want to talk about the original Palestinians, it's the people of Israel. You know, I just heard the rabbi talk about his grandfather, his father. My father is buried in Marietta National Cemetery. My father fought for the United States of America in a segregated army in the European theater against the Nazis and against Germany. And if you remember what happened in 1944, 1945, when the American soldiers went in and found those concentration camps, found those death camps, it was General Eisenhower that said, we have got to take pictures of this. We have got to record this because we can never allow this to happen again. And the world came together and said never again. Well, guess what, folks? You look across the street and it's happening again. And we cannot allow that to happen. Every single one of us here in Texas. Every single one of us here in Texas. You need to be concerned that there are people in Texas, in Dallas, Texas, that support a designated terrorist organization. How can you justify what they're doing? You know, there are people over there who have no problem strapping a bomb on a young person and having them come over here and stand in the midst of us. And don't tell me that that doesn't happen. Because 30 years ago, I was in Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm. In 2003, I was over there in Iraq. For 2.5 years, I was over there in Afghanistan. And you just think about what happened a couple of weeks ago when the Taliban killed 68 little girls just trying to go to school. How can anybody over there support that type of savagery, that type of barbarism, and stand here in the greatest nation that the world has ever known, in the greatest state in the greatest nation that the world has ever known, and talk about supporting a terrorist organization? It's time for us to stand up and make sure that we never allow it to happen again. Now, you know what's kind of interesting? We didn't see none of that in the last 4 years. There weren't no rockets being fired in the last 4 years. There was someone that decided we're going to move the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv and put it where it's supposed to be in Jerusalem. There weren't no rockets being fired because the only thing that some people understand is peace through strength. The only thing that some people understand is might, will, and determination. When I think about the Star of David, when I think about the modern day state of Israel, I see that determination. When I think about Prime Minister Netanyahu, who stood up there to the person that is occupying our White House, and he said there will be no ceasefire. Because if Israel conducts a ceasefire, they're just going to have to suffer more rockets. But if they conduct a ceasefire, there will be peace. You know, I've been to Israel a couple of times, and I've been to Sderot, and I've seen the trauma of the children that are there that have to run away from the playgrounds and go into bomb shelters. I've looked over into Gaza. You know, as the young lady said, once upon a time, Israel completely pulled out of Gaza. You remember those beautiful greenhouses that the Israeli citizens had there? Well, they tore them down and they became launch portions for rockets and missiles. The tunnel system that they have that goes in under schools, that go in under homes and neighborhoods. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot appease, you cannot negotiate, you cannot compromise with terrorism. That's why we have to stand strong, regardless of what we see coming out of this current administration. Because as I said 4 years ago, none of these people were out here in the streets. They have become emboldened. And now you have to become emboldened. And you, in this incredible state, we need to make sure that the Lone Star always supports the Star of David. Go home tonight and love your kids. When you talk about conducting Aliyah, we want to make sure that generation upon generation gets the opportunity to do that. And maybe, just maybe one day, they will realize the wrongness of who they are standing with, and they'll understand that they need to step across Preston Road and be over here on the side of the stars. God bless America. God bless Israel. God bless Texas. And God bless the freedom and liberty that we have, and the ability that we have to stand up and profess it and stand up and fight for it. When you leave out here tonight, be careful. But when you leave out here tonight, if you're confronted by the people over there, do not drop your head. Do not act afraid. Because I know that in the Torah, as we call the Old Testament, God told Joshua to be strong and of good courage. For the Lord his God will be with him wherever he goes. God is with us. God is with Israel. God is with America. And God bless you all for being here.